Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning into episode 14 of the Keep It Simple podcast, your 5-minute hit of value first thing in the morning. So today, I thought we'd just touch on people's fear of failure. What I've noticed is I've changed my mindset around failure, and it's only something that's actually I've cottoned on to recently. Typically you hear certain sayings and you repeat them, but they don't necessarily just sink in. You say them, but they have zero meaning behind them. So I remember from the beginning of my memories, my dad always used to say to me, "You either win or you learn." And I've said it for fucking what feels like forever now, but it's never really sunk in until probably a few months now, where I associated it to the feeling of failure and being scared of failing. But you never really fail unless you don't learn from it. So therefore, you either learn or you win. Or I prefer to win first. But I mean, if you're not gonna win, then at least you're gonna learn, right? So the key takeaway, I think, from this episode is change your perception of what failure means. Failure to me means that I've done something, I've completely fucked it up, and then a few weeks later I have a go at it again and I make the exact same mistakes. Well, then that's failure, because I haven't learned from trial number one, right? So whereas if I have a go at something and I completely and utterly fuck it up completely, well, that's fine, because I have some key takeaways or data, or however your brain wants to comprehend that failure. You've got some key actions to walk away with that you can then say, well, I've learned that this and this brought about failure, so let me give it another go, and we'll mitigate as much of this as possible, and then we'll see the result. And then you have another go at it, and again, perhaps you fail, but at least then you've failed, but you've become wiser from it. So therefore, it's not, in my brain, it's technically not a failure. So that for me has been a very key thing that I've been able to shift my mind around and to learn from, and then my fear of failure is pretty much non-existent. I mean, I just kind of think of it as, well, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? I don't get it right. Oh well, shame. And I think that's really key. That's really important for anyone who's trying to make changes in their life, or take on things that they necessarily have never done before. So the last 2 months or so, I've got it in my head that I want to be sitting on a number of boards, and I've had a few interviews, and touch wood, they've gone actually really well, and I've been very well received, whereas I kind of thought that being 28, people would laugh me out the room and say, well, what do you know? You're only 28, you've got X number of business years experience, but that's not necessarily what we're looking for. We're looking for people who have been there for 40 years plus. But that's actually not been the case. I've been kind of welcomed in quite nicely, which I've been surprised at. But I went in there expecting to get laughed out the room, and I would then have to change my sell on how I wanted to then join the board and say, well, actually, I've been to X number of interviews, I've learned this, I know that you're looking at this and you need that, therefore this is what I can offer, and this is how I can change and fix things. But I went in there, and I went in with that kind of mindset of, well, I'm quite happy to fail, but I'm going to learn at the same time, so therefore it's not a failure. So yeah, I've talked around and around in circles now about this. You get the point. Change your mindset around failure, and you'll have a lot more positive situations come your way, because it's not failure, you're learning. And as long as we're learning, we're growing. The day you stop learning is the day that you start becoming fucked, because, well, you're not learning, therefore you're stagnant, which means technically you're going backwards, because everyone else is still going forwards, and if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. Simple as that, or you're getting left behind. So that's the key takeaway from today. You either win or you learn. Shift your mindset, adopt that, and give me a shout and let me know how you're finding it. Check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, all over social media. Show us some love, give us a review, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. I'll chat to you guys again tomorrow for episode 15. Cheers, bye.